has been ruled by one man. Now Bobi Wine says the system doesn't fall with bullets, it falls with just 7 ideas. The real question is this: are these 7-point agenda a roadmap to freedom, or the reason the regime is afraid of him? Before we go further, where do you stand? Change or continuity? Tap like so this
That is a good question. The person watching, are you for change or continuity?
conversation isn't buried, and tell us your view in the comments.
What are going to be your policies if you get rid of President Museveni?
We are looking at breaking a dictatorship and having Uganda under civilian rule, which has never...
Yes, one, having Uganda under civilian rule. Since independence, we've never been under civilian rule, so that would be a miracle. Yes.
Happened before. We want the voice of the people to surpass the voice of the guns. We want to return the rule of law and dignity to the Ugandans and
to return the rule of law.
Utmost respect for human rights. We want to revive our education system. I mean, it is sad that
reviving the education system.
The wife of the president, whose education is actually questionable, is the Minister of Education. And it is so sad, the recent happenings in Makerere University and what she said, but that explains the regime and the family and the couple that's ruling over us. We want to revive our healthcare system. It is sick itself.
Reviving the healthcare system.
It explains why our government officials, our leaders actually never go to our hospitals. Even when they have to give birth, they fly to developed countries for treatment, while the Ugandans are left to suffer and die. That explains why we lose more than 19 women every day, not every week, not every month.
19 women every day.
Every day giving birth. More than 300 children die in Uganda, and all these other challenges that people go through. If we had a functioning healthcare system, it would be working. Uganda is enormously gifted with amazing fertile soils. However, the land has been conspicuously owned by one family or one clan or one grouping. We want to put an end to that. We want the natural resources of the country to be actually a property and a benefit of the people of Uganda. We are greatly endowed with natural resources from minerals to oil. We want them to facilitate the people of Uganda and help develop us. And finally, we want to unite our country because we live in a deeply divided country. Divided
unification of many clans.
Along ethnicity, along class, along income, along political lining. We want to put an end to that, and that will need us to have a truth and reconciliation program that can bring our people together so we can have a foundation that will take us together forward as a country. And most importantly, I know that many of our very resourceful, knowledgeable, educated, and intelligent people have been forced to leave Uganda because the nation does not offer what they deserve. These are first world brains stuck in a third world country. We want to repatriate them back home to help build our country. I must note.
That is a good point. First class brains living or stuck in a third world.
That after the unfortunate events in Rwanda of 1994, it is mainly Ugandans that went to Rwanda and assisted build the Republic of Rwanda. We want Ugandans living in America, living in Europe, living elsewhere to feel comfortable and blessed to come back and rebuild their country.
That is not dog.
I want all of you to know that it is possible if you stand firm. It is hard to stand firm.
It is possible if you stand firm.
Our leader of opposition said one time, and I agreed with him, that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. I just want to assure you.
If you fight corruption, then corruption fights back. Newton's laws of motion, action, and reaction are equal but opposite.
Firm. Our leader of opposition said one time, and I agreed with him, that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. I just want to assure you, friends, that for those of you who fight corruption, you will never fight alone. We, the people of Uganda, will stand with you. We will back you up. We will fight with you. And as we are taught, a people united cannot be defeated. You won't be defeated. Finally, friends, I also want to mention that corruption, on a close analysis, is but just a symptom of a bigger problem. And that problem is misrule. That problem is dictatorship. That problem is a rulership, not a leadership. A rulership that has no account, that does not feel obliged with the people and is not answerable to the people. Friends, when you see flies hovering over a mess,
when you see flies hovering over the mess,
you don't just spray the flies. You remove the mess and the flies will go out.
True that. If you see flies hovering over the mess, you don't bring the spray to spray the flies, but what you do, just get something and remove the mess. Flies will just go away.
We need to remove this dictatorship, and corruption will be history. And I'll quote one eminent leader that we have in this country, Museveni Mayengo, Israel, who was speaking a few weeks ago. He said, and I agree with him, that back in the day, President Obote noted that the problem of Uganda and Africa generally is reduced into three things. That is poverty, that is ignorance, and disease. And he was spot on. Today, Museveni Mayengo reduced the problem in Uganda. It is no longer poverty, ignorance, and disease, but it is centrally corruption. Because corruption is the center of all this. I want to salute our parliamentary front for the continued fight. And ladies and gentlemen, indeed, there's no better place to talk about corruption than here, the Parliament of Uganda, which has distinguished itself in recent days as the high temple of corruption. I hate to use those words, but if we are to deal with the problem, then understanding it and addressing it in reality is a first step. This Parliament has had the most outrageous scandals recently. In recent times, we've seen the Speaker of Parliament with impunity siphoning taxpayers' money. In recent days, we have seen this Parliament doing unprecedented things. We've seen in this Parliament the Speaker of Parliament and government ministers sharing iron sheets meant for the poorest.
Oh, do you remember the iron sheets saga? It was bloody.
Of the poor in Uganda. It is in this Parliament that we've seen the leader of opposition rewarded before he works. It was.
This shit is fun as fuck, bro. How can you be rewarded? Remember, you are opposing. A leader of opposition was rewarded before starting to oppose.
In this Parliament where we saw that so-called service award. And it is this Parliament that provoked the conscience of even our young people. We all remember the young people of this nation getting up and deciding to have a march to Parliament. Many of them were arrested, as you read in the newspapers, tortured, and even sodomized for daring to counter corruption. For those young people that were trying to make their way to Parliament and failed, I thought that maybe today I could try to be their spokesperson, to be their mouthpiece, and say to you what those young people were not able to say. Friends, corruption, I think, has become cliche. It has become, corruption is too cool a name to give to what is being done.
The word corruption is too cool. In other words, it does not represent the real action. That the real action is even more worse than the word.
A while ago, the head of Transparency International defined corruption, and I agree with him, as the cold and calculated robbery of a people's future, of people's opportunities. And I agree, because it is corruption that has stolen the future of the people of Uganda. Many of you who are under 50 have seen that corruption has robbed all your youthful and useful days from you. Corruption has stolen the vision of Uganda from the people of Uganda. I could go on and on and on about corruption, since we Ugandans all know that our country ranks number 140 out of 180 countries, the most corrupt. That means we're only 40 countries shy from the corruption trophy.
Only 40.
A situation where we lose almost half of the revenue collected in Uganda. That corruption should be, looked at as a corruption in crisis level. We are in trouble because of corruption.
This is the absolute best phone holder for your car. Your phone clips right into it.
So President was like, we are in trouble because of corruption.
Of government, the current one, Betty Kamya, who we expect to most understand corruption, defined it, simplified it a few weeks ago in an online video, and I agree with her. She once again told us that we lose to the tune of 10 trillion. I believe it could be more to corruption. But again, she goes further to break it down to us and tell us that out of the 45.9 million Ugandans, it is only 350,000 Ugandans that are in that circle. Now, these are not the people controlling the country or our economy. These are just a group of people that I would call enablers, including some of you members of parliament, including all the people that are being used. But again, she goes further to show us that a small group of people that are even 10% or less of the enablers, that is roughly 35,000 people. This is a small group of people that is milking the entire country, and we all know these are the people that have decided that our country is supposed to go down the drain. Let us imagine what 10 trillion can do.
10 trillion.
A little while ago, we were imagining what that money can do if corruption was stamped out. 10 trillion lost every year. Imagine what that money can do to our road network. Imagine what that money can do to our hospitals and health centers.
Schools.
Imagine if we set out to use that money to transform our schools. Unfortunately, that money goes to a few. So as we stand here, ladies and gentlemen, we should reflect on so many things that have been said. Otherwise, we'll continue saying it and saying it and saying it. Recently, we lost one of Uganda's international journalists, Shaka Sari, and he was quoted to have said that one of the biggest achievements of the Museveni regime is institutionalizing corruption. And that is true.
Institutional.
Because we all can realize that corruption is a currency.
That Museveni gave corruption institutions. So corruption is in institutions.
In this regime, corruption is used to reward the corrupt and to silence or even eliminate those that are fighting it. It is the sure way of General Museveni to hold on to power. And now we are at this parliament, I can even dare say that this our parliament has also been reduced. This our parliament, just like the Museveni regime, it attracts the worst of characters and corrupts the best. It is my hope and prayer that our leadership here will not be compromised like it was a while ago.
In summary, Bobi Wine's 7-point agenda include the following. 1. Restore democracy and rule of law.
Restore democracy and rule of law.
End repression, guarantee free elections, and respect the Constitution. 2. Crush corruption, prosecute
Crush corruption.
corrupt officials, and recover stolen public funds. 3. Create jobs and empower the economy.
Creating jobs and empowering the economy.
Support local businesses, protect workers, and tackle youth unemployment. 4. Fix education, fund public
Fix education. 4.
schools, focus on skills, and make education accessible to all. 5. Fix healthcare, equip hospitals,
Fix healthcare.
pay health workers properly, and end medical tourism for elites. 6. Promote unity and social justice.
Promoting unity, unification.
End tribalism and exclusion. Ensure equal opportunity for all Ugandans. 7. Youth-led leadership and accountability. End life presidency. Enforce term limit.
Ending life presidency. Restoring age limits.
And open leadership to a new generation. Those were Bobi Wine's 7-point agenda. Not slogans, not noise, but a direct challenge to how power has worked in Uganda for decades. Whether you agree with him or not, one thing is undeniable. This agenda has forced a national conversation the system tried to silence. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of the 7 points threatens the establishment the most, and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button so this discussion reaches more Ugandans and Africans in the diaspora.
Yes. What are people saying? Abe Hassan is saying we need change, please. Yes. Omara, we are looking for change. May the Almighty God bless Uganda. Kugonza Robert, I'm dying to see change. Yeah, he's dying to see change. Hey. Bijon. Change is needed, please God. Change. Then Samakula James, change obviously. So people are answering the question. Are you for change or you are for continuity? We need change, Rashid change. You can see the comment section, all people are saying change. We stand for change. Vote Umbrella Chaguranyi is the answer. Hey, all people are saying change. Continuity of the regime or changing the regime. Only Chaguranyi. Hey, what do you think about this video? Are you supporting continuity of Museveni's regime or change for Bobi Wine? What do you think about the 7-point program Bobi Wine has? What do you think about them? Like, share, subscribe if you're new. See you in the next video. Peace.